Welcome to the Culers Podcast. In this first episode, we have a lot to discuss. I will be joined with Otávio and Mo. And guys, let's introduce ourselves. Who will start?
I can. Hopefully you are doing well. Elvis, of course, I don't know if I need to say that, but I am from Brazil, 20 years old. Those things are already in our introduction, but just excited, man. Excited to start because as with Barca, there's always a lot of things happening, and with preseason starting today. Hopefully we can debrief, and this definitely will be a very nice journey for us,
Because this is something that we all try to do from our sides and discuss about Barca and everything related to it. And this is something that will be nice for all of us. Yeah, I think you Mo, think the same. It's the same for you?
Yeah, it's the same for me. I'm very excited to be part of this new project. And as today is the first day of the preseason, I'm super excited on what Xavi has got for the team, and I'm happy to share all my knowledge with you guys.
Okay, the preseason started today. A lot of players came back from their holidays. Right now, planning the new season with Xavi being in front of everything for the first time since he became coach. I think this will be the time for him to plan everything from scratch, because this is something that he did not have time to do before. And in this case, we can start judging how he does from the beginning, not just being critical of him doing something wrong in the middle of the season where everything went wrong, where everything was falling apart, when we lost Messi, when the team started to rebuild. And now this is his time to bring players that he wanted to bring, to establish the system he wants, to have time with players to discuss it and implement it into their play style. And yeah, Collado came back, Trincao came back, Pjanic came back, Peña came back, and there was also Ter Stegen, Pedri, Fati, Roberto, Aubameyang, Piqué, Nico, Neto, Dest, Puig, Reymana, Pablo Torre, Ilias, Arnold Tenas, and Ez Abde. All of them were back today. What about those players that returned, guys? What do you think? Will any of them stay?
I think probably the first 3 or 4 that you said, I am kind of, I don't know, not sure, especially Pjanic, Trincao, Collado I think will stay. But Pjanic and Trincao is a very, very doubtful for me, because Pjanic won't have not that much space in the team with all of the midfielders that we have. Even if Frankie leaves, I doubt he will play, because he doesn't really fit the system. We saw with Coleman, he never really adapted, isn't the right profile, So if we probably can find a place for him, even if that is a loan, termination of contract, letter of freedom, whatever it might be. But I think we need to get rid of him, because he has a very high salary as well, and it's difficult to pay that for a guy that won't probably play. And for the other one, Trincao, Trincao is an interesting one, because I think maybe if he does a good preseason, he could. I won't say he will stay, because there's probably a lot of players that will be on top of him. Probably Dembele, Rafinha if he comes, and all that. But if he does well, similar to Collado, he might be around, because Trincao, when he first came and with Coleman, was a player that I liked. And in preseason 2 years ago, he was good, but never really got the right playing time, never really establishing himself, was a little bit inconsistent, So we'll see. With Xavi, maybe he could get more chances and maybe stay. And just to finish this part, for Collado, I think he has more chances than Trincao, because Xavi already made clear, that Collado will be in the team. And I think he, together with Abde, can be like the two backup options, at the right wing positions for the other players, because with a long season, with a lot of competitions, we will need to have a lot of depth in the team, And Collado is definitely a player that can give, coming from La Masia, has a lot of talent, and I think he's a player that maybe can be a lot unsung hero, a guy that we weren't expecting to be in the first team, and maybe he gets his chance and establishing himself.
Yeah, as Otávio said, I completely agree with what he said. With all the new players coming in, if you look at the right wing position, we have Dembele now, we have Izabde, we have Trincao, Collado, and if we send Rafinha, that's 5 players in that position at the moment.
Exactly.
So yeah, a lot. That's actually more than overload in a specific position. So if I was Xavi, I would, with Dembele, is he can play left and right. So that's a good thing with Dembele. So I would say keep 2 left-footed players on the right-hand side. So technically, if you say, Rafinha, it's the price of Rafinha that's gonna let them down. So it's gonna be I think so Abde will start ahead of Collado, according to my books, because last season also he was performing when he was given the chance, and
he showed determination and the will to break from being overshadowed. But
yes, exactly. And with Collado, I think he's got a bit of experience under the belt after going on to Granada, and it's going to be a battle between the two. And with Trincao, I think so they'll probably try to sell him, according to me. But it all depends on how Xavi wants to set up his team. And
exactly.
With the other players,
we know a little bit about what Xavi wants and what are his preferences, but it's something that when Trincao was signed and when Collado broke through, those are all players that had certain aspects of their game that could fit in our ideology, and it's something that gives them the advantage of having a chance to play for the first team. And this time, with the preseason starting, they will have a coach that can acknowledge that. And I think we still have to wait for the first few games before we know what exactly he thinks with this new setup and new style and new players that he wants. But yeah, it's a tricky situation with the wingers because there are a lot of them, and a few of them don't have guaranteed place in the team, and right now they will have to fight.
Yeah, even I think so. This month, right now, is quite important for the players because this is a preseason. They got a time, so this month, if the players who's coming up from the academy or who's been there for a couple of seasons, they want to try to prove to Xavi why you have to choose me in your team, why I should be in the starting lineup. So this preseason will be very, very important to some of the players that are willing to stay in the team.
Exactly, because it feels like, yeah.
No, just that I think everybody that is on preseason, that even the players that maybe won't be at the club afterwards will have the chance, because Xavi will want to assess every player. If he has everybody that at his disposition, he will see. So I think everybody that is there probably will get his chance. But I think after the first preseason's game, maybe even before the US tour, we'll probably already have a better idea of how the squad is shaping up, especially if the signings that we are trying to do happen. Some players that were there, like Pjanic, Puig, and even Neto, those guys probably they will have their future resolved very soon. So as I said, I don't think the squad will be the same for the US tour as it is now, because I think Xavi will want to have more of the players that he is sure that he will count. And as I said before, I think that will probably be the case when some of the signings are made,
So yeah, but what do you guys think about the goalkeeper positions right now? We all know that Neto is not in Xavi's plans. In the end, he might stay again.
Yeah.
It was talks about him leaving last season, and then Peña went. Peña went to Galatasaray, but he performed well. He was amazing.
Yeah.
Especially when we played against them, and he showed his attributes, and I think that was the time when we all felt like Xavi might see him, Xavi might give him a chance, because I think he is a far better choice of being a second goalkeeper for us than Neto was ever since he came to the club.
Yeah, I agree 100%, because Naki Peña, I think, has much more of the attributes that a Barca goalkeeper needs to have than Neto. Neto technically isn't a bad keeper. I appreciate it. I think that technically he's pretty good, but at Barca you need to know how to play with your feet, man, as a goalkeeper. And if you don't, you probably won't be at the team. And we see always with Neto that he struggles. And teams, they know that, and they try to explore that fragility of Neto. And in Naki Peña, as you said, Elvis, against Galatasaray, I was also very, very impressed the way that he played. Even with his feet, he looked really, really composed, really calm on the ball. And at Barca, of course, that would be really needed. And also technically, he made a lot of good saves. And I think he's ready to be the number two. And if he accept that, of course, Neto needs to leave first, so that Naki Peña goes to the number two, and probably Arnau Tenasno go to as the third goalkeeper. I think that would be sorted for next season as the goalkeeper position. Of course, Ter Stegen continues at number one, and Naki Peña, I'm sure that he already has the level to be the second goalkeeper, and I think he needs to stay, because as like that we can develop him, and eventually he could succeed and become the number one goalkeeper when Ter Stegen leaves.
Yeah, as you guys said, with Naki Peña and stuff, the one thing that's concerning me right now is because Neto's got quite decent salary, it'll be quite difficult for him personally to live. He'll be like, in my head, I can run out my contract and I'll still get paid, which some of the players have done in the club. So if you look at past 2 seasons, Umtiti wasn't willing to leave. So Neto could be a similar case.
But practically everyone is a little bit comfortable because of all the big salaries that Bartomeu offered them.
Yeah. So if Neto leaves, and eventually Iñaki Peña will be the second keeper, and I think so that's a good thing for him, because he'll be, of course, he'll be a backup to a very good keeper, that's Ter Stegen. And if you look at goalkeepers in general, they still got time. Even if you look at Iñaki Peña's age, is around only 21, which is actually quite a young age for goalkeepers. And you don't find goalkeepers at the age of 21 starting in a team. there's some exceptions and stuff, but right now it's a good thing for Inaki Peña and for Ter Stegen. I think so. He's got maybe 2 or 3 seasons in him at the top, and eventually Inaki Peña can succeed him if you're looking at the future of the squad.
Yeah, and we're talking about competition as well with Ter Stegen because he needs it desperately. I think that he's also one of those that became comfortable because of all the alternatives that weren't good enough for him to be challenged. And I think Peña can offer that to a certain amount, especially because he can still improve, especially with age. And it's usually older goalkeepers. I mean, the players that become older and are better are usually goalkeepers because they tend to be in their prime years when they are in their 30s, compared to midfielders and attackers when they are 26 or something like that. But yeah, it's exactly something that we need to take a closer look this preseason with Peña getting chances to play, and maybe we'll see Arnau Tenas as well. It's something. There are a lot of games and a lot of opportunities for every single goalkeeper to get some minutes and show why they should be considered of staying or being the second or third choice. But that also depends only on them. But yeah, I think that we should all find a new defender, a goalkeeper alternative for Ter Stegen, maybe a left back, and the right back with Dani Alves gone now. But that is something that can be managed even without improvements. But the central zone of our team is something that I think does not need a lot more if there are no major departures. And that is something I want to reference this topic right now, with De Jong being in the center of the attention ever since the transfer market opened. It's with him leaving for Manchester United, with Ten Hag being in charge there. But I think that I am one of those sympathizers of De Jong that does not want that to happen. But considering the economical situation and that it doesn't seem to be a sporting decision, but more a money-oriented one. What do you guys think? Will he stay? Will he go? Because there is no way of telling what will happen in the next few weeks.
Yeah, to be honest, every day that passes, something different happens, and you cannot predict what will happen with De Jong. I still have a feeling that if both clubs find an agreement in the fee, which looks to be quite close, probably the club will force him out to a point that he won't resist, because every time Barca forces a player, they usually leaves. We saw that with Emerson, we saw that with Arturo as well 2 years ago. The club has a lot of power to do that. But Laporta's words Saturday really, I don't know, man, buggled me, because a lot of people thinks that there was a strategy to get the price higher, or to maybe force Frankie to take a pay cut. But I don't think he would have said that if there wasn't something changing in the background. I have an impression that maybe he got some indications that Frankie would be willing to reduce his salary, even if Fabrizio said he wasn't. But I don't believe that. I think Frankie, if we go to him and propose that, very well, I think he would accept, because Frankie isn't a player that money is the most important thing for him. I'm
exactly.
absolutely convinced
he does not look like that. Yeah. And
no, he's a guy that the most important thing for him is to play for Barca and to succeed. That is his dream. That is what he wants. And I think if he needs to take a pay cut, that is the sacrifice that he needs to do to stay. I think he would, man. I absolutely think he would. But let's think that if he leaves, if Bernardo Silva comes, I will be okay, because I think that is a direct replacement. And for Xavi, Bernardo would even be better. Xavi thinks that Bernardo is a player that fits his system better. We can discuss that. I think both of them absolutely perfect. Frankie does the job fantastically as well. So I would be happy with both of them. I just wouldn't like that if Frankie leaves, Bernardo doesn't come. Then that would be a little bit bad for us. But I don't know, man. I think it's an absolutely 50-50 with Frankie leaving or staying. I think if he accepts the pay cut, he stays 100%. I think if the two clubs get the agreement, I don't know. Then we'll see what happens. But every passing day, things changes, and you cannot predict what will happen.
Yeah, with Frankie, it's a difficult one because the one thing that's holding back the transfer is that Man United is playing in the Europa League. That's one of the things, and there are other reasons as well. But that one thing is affecting a lot of players, especially when you're in a club like Barcelona, who consistently always goes into the Champions League. Whether last season was an exception, but usually we are a Champions League team, and if you're like a starting player, so Frankie De Jong is a starting player for Barcelona. So, and it would be quite, if personally for Frankie De Jong, it would be a downgrade from going from Barcelona to Man United right now, because of the way both clubs are and stuff. So, and if you look at Barca's point of view, this is a economical move for Barcelona, because I don't see anything tactically wrong with it, because Frankie is a good player for Barcelona. He fits the portfolio for a Barcelona team. It's just more of a financial one. But if you're getting Bernardo Silva with, let's say, more money than Frankie, then I would say I think it's a waste of money, because if you're selling Frankie, let's say around 85 million euros, we should get Bernardo either under that or the same amount if you're paying 100 million for him, because I've heard some rumors of him being at 100 million euros, which is kind of overpaying for a player.
It would be another mistake that we used to do in the last couple of seasons, but with players
in the transfer market.
But
same with Rafinha. Paying 60 million is a bit more excessive at the moment, because if Leeds were relegated, he would have been just 25 million for us. So if you look at that point of view, I think the board should be a bit more smarter with that and see how it will affect the financial situation of the club.
Yeah, but with Rafinha, this is the situation that should be considered. Like, we have a player that wants to come to the club, that is saying, okay, my agent Deco in this case, do it, make it happen. I want to play for Barcelona, and this is something that puts pressure on the club a little bit as well, as much as Leeds is now trying to be resistant to every other option because other clubs offer more. But it comes down with Rafinha and what his preferences are and how much pressure he's willing to put on his club. It's the same with Lewandowski now, who is trying to do everything he can to force his exit from Bayern. And this is something with Frankie. He is about to leave the club of his dreams in an unexpected way. He did not see it coming, and but he's a perfect player, like you guys said, and he's a player that fits our club, and he is already a part of this team. He knows what is expected of him, even if there were managers before that did not know how to implement him in the best way possible. But right now he has a coach that can do it, and he still didn't have time to make use of him the way he wants to. And I think that it's a bit of a forced thing from the club. I know that this is a situation of money being the issue, but sometimes, man, I wish that did not happen, because there are players that hurt when they leave, and Frankie is one of those players, and the fans will be outraged, especially if he leaves, but then we don't find another good replacement. And if Bernardo is that expensive as the rumors are suggesting, he's not the one we should look for, even if we don't find a competent solution. But this is something that needs to be discussed with Frank right now. This is the only signing that is official right now, and it became official today, even though we knew for far longer that he will be a part of our team. But does he fit in our system? What do we need to change to make him the player that is a regular starter?
I think
Is he good enough for the team?
I think he is, man. I have watched a lot of I watch a lot of Serie A as well, and I have seen him with Milan the past 2-3 years, and he's a guy that can play in basically every position in the midfield, as a box to box, as an interior, who probably would be his position at Barca, but as a double pivot, man. That's why letting Frankie leave would I know wouldn't be good, because with Cassie we could easily play with a double pivot, having Frankie and Cassie together, and that would probably be really beneficial for Frankie, because he would be able to play the way that he likes, getting the ball deeper and carrying forward, and then Cassie would be able to cover his spaces. And we know with Busquets that is a little bit difficult, because Bus is the guy that does our single pivot, you know. But yeah, Cassie is a very good player. He's also a really good penalty taker. So of course we have Memphis that does that very well. But he is a completely different guy of all of the midfielders that we have. All of them are usually very technical, very good with the ball, passing, vision. But not, of course, all of them are really their work rates are really good off the ball. We see Pedri, Gavi, guys that always, when they lose the ball, they try to recover instantly. But Cassie is a guy that has a physical profile, and I think he would only add to the team. And of course, even if Frankie leaves, I think we should bring another player. I don't think Cassie would be a direct replacement for Frankie, but surely I think he's a guy that has the level to play at the team, and I think he will surprise a lot of people, man. Him together with Christensen, I think would be two very underrated signings for us, especially that they are for free, you know. So free signings, there is always zero risk. If they go well, perfect. If they doesn't, you can sell afterwards and get profit. So I think he will be good for us, man, surely.
Personally, what I think of Cassie is he's a good player, but I don't think he would fit the Barcelona portfolio. And if you look at the way Xavi, I don't know if he's gonna change the system completely this season, but
because we're talking just about one player, right? It's changing the system just for Cassie, and it's not something that I think will happen. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. So if I don't think so. He has Elvis said he would change the system completely with Cassie. Personally, what I think is he would struggle to get the minutes, because with Xavi he would prefer Pedri and Gavi and Busi as the starting midfielder. Even if Frankie leaves, he would still stick with them. And with Cassie is more like I find him like more like a Paulinho kind of a player for us.
Yeah, he's like an extra player that can add a bit of something we miss.
Yeah,
but it's not a regular thing.
Yeah, but we used to have that player before, like Alex Vidal. We used to not actually Arturo Vidal. And
as we are recording
so-
right now, I just need to tell you guys that Christensen is already a Barca player too.
Oh, official as well.
It's just official.
Nice.
Ah, it's official.
So yeah, we have
Okay.
another player.
Okay,
More work
that's
for us
quick.
today. But
Yeah.
yeah,
more.
The news come and fly, man. It's absolutely
Yeah.
crazy.
it's like they knew we were
Yeah.
recording
Let's
today.
see,
So
let's
yeah.
So yeah, he would be more like a Paulinho and Arturo Vidal kind of a player for us. But I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen throughout the season and how he performs. And yeah, I'm excited for him though.
But just to add on Cassie, I think his profile is a needed profile in our team, because I remember, for example, in the Frankfurt game at the Europa League, we struggle a little bit against those more powerhouses, midfielders, the teams that come and sit deep and annoy us. And Cassie is a guy that will resist, if you understand me, the kind of physical clashes in midfield. So even if he doesn't start every game, and I agree with Mo in the sense that if even if Frank leaves, probably the midfield would be Pedri, Gavi, and Busquets if we don't sign anyone. Cassie would be at the bench, but he's a definitely very welcome addition, man, to put in the team. You can change the system during the match, with depending how things are going. So yeah, I am excited to see him. I think he would, even if he doesn't play every game, but as we said before, the season will be long. There will be a lot of competitions, a lot of games, and as deeper the squad is, the better.
Exactly, because I think that yeah, this could happen in the same way that it did with Paulinho, being the player that no one expected to arrive, but then he came, and when he played, he did have an influence on our strides to win, and he did score, he did participate in build-ups, and he was one player that us fans can remember. But with Kessier, he has another portfolio to set a new standard, to be something different, and maybe surprise us in a positive way. And with Xavi apparently being in favor of bringing him, I'm excited to see what he can do with him. Because I don't think, I mean, Valverde also favored Paulinho to come, and we could see why. We could see that he does things that Valverde expected him to do, and this is why it will be really exciting to see what Xavi thinks with bringing him in the club. So yeah, but what do you guys think about Christensen? I mean, now he's here. We also knew that he would arrive. But I didn't think that we would talk about him today. But since the club posted the official news, let's see.
I think the same as Cassie, man. He is another player that will only add to the squad. Will only be a greater addition. I think with Christensen, there, especially at the end of the season with Chelsea, there were, I saw some comments in Twitter, all of that. A little bit of hate with him, and he struggled. But I think maybe a little bit it was because he probably, as you said, we know that he would be a Barca player, I don't know, for 4 or 5 months now. So maybe that a little bit didn't help him, in the sense that his head probably wasn't at Chelsea anymore. But I think he's a very good center back, man. Guy that can play with the ball very well, strong, tall. Don't know if necessarily he's the guy that we need to pair up with Araujo, but he can easily play in a three at the back if Xavi eventually decides to play with the system as well. But I think having him, Araujo, Piqué, Eric Garcia, and maybe another center back, ideally Koundé, of course, that would probably make our defense very, very solid and very, very strong for next season. And I think both Christensen and Kessie, man, as Xavi personally asked them, Xavi gave the approval. And I think when the manager chooses the players, you have to back him. You have to respect his decision and just see what happens. But I think both those players, especially that they are as free agents, I think they will only be very, very good additions to the team, and looking forward to see both of them.
Yeah, with Christensen, I feel he's more like a ball carrier kind of a defender rather than. So I would say he would fit a portfolio with Eric Garcia and Piqué rather than Araujo. So he's one of those type of defenders, and defensively he's quite experienced. He's quite good. As you saw a couple of seasons ago in the Champions League, if you see throughout the season, he was quite good, and yeah, I think so. He fits the portfolio that Xavi wants, and as Otávio said, Xavi asked him personally. So I gotta respect his decision, and I'm really excited for how our new two signings would do this season.
Okay, and before we continue, I just have to say that both players have reached an agreement to sign a contract until 30th of June 2026, and with both players having the buyout clause of 500 million euros. So guys, what do you think about the new kits? I mean, this is something very different from the last season where everyone was a bit outraged with the designs. But right now, a new sponsor, I think that the kits look pretty beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's incredible that we went from one of the worst kits in our history, the one last season,
for exactly.
One of, in my opinion, one of the best kits I have ever seen as a Barca fan. I really liked the first one, and the Spotify logo being gold really matched a lot with the kit. I think if it was white or green, I don't know if it would be that good. And I am looking forward to buy one. I didn't do it yet, but certainly will, because with the new kit, it always gives you a little bit of like a fresh start, to the season, new hope, and as you said, a new sponsor after 4 or 5 years will be good to see. But I have to be honest, man, I think I liked more the gold one. The second kit, I really like that kit, man, because if you look to the kit just over it doesn't look nothing special. But if you look close to the details of all of those things, the rings, I don't know, to the reminds the 92 Olympic Games. I really like that kit, but I have already asked my father to look for the first one, so unfortunately we won't be able to buy both. But I think both of them is like the first one's probably 9 out of 10, and the second one probably 9.5. I really like the work that Nike did this season with the kids.
Yeah, I agree with you both guys. Like, as Otávio said, I would prefer the second one above the first.
I think we all think the same right now. Yeah, I like the second one better too.
Second, even last season, second one was far better than the home kit.
Of course.
So I don't know. I find it kind of funny. I hope we perform well in these kits, because these are beautiful, both kits, and I hope we win.
It's usually with me, it's a superstition. When I bought the kit, doesn't matter of the season, but the year that I bought the kit, the team did well, usually. So last season, I said it to myself, okay, let's buy the kit and hopefully we will win something. We did not, but at least we got Xavi, right? I guess that something like that is it's a superstition I have, because if before the game I need to wear the kit, because I feel that brings good luck to them, and But yeah, it's something that I usually do before the game start. And I get pretty angry if I forget it. So yeah. And that brings us to the finish of today's episode. We just have to introduce the game that will be played in 9 days time. On 30th of July, our preseason starts officially with the first game against Olot. It's a team coming from Catalonia, playing in Tercera division. And yeah, we will see the new kids in action and see how the players wear them. Hopefully win the first game, seeing some players do well, and getting to know the new team Xavi is trying to introduce to us. Thank you guys for listening. I hope that you enjoyed our conversation, and that you will come back for the second episode, which will already be a bit more interesting, at least considering the game we are about to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can have some new signings already. Have
I mean, we
something
started
to-
on the right foot. 2 signings,
we have
one
already-
episode.
I know.
So yeah.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
two official signings already in the first episode. Hopefully for the second we can have more, maybe Lewandowski. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, it was absolute pleasure, and the things are only starting, man, and probably will be even more exciting going through. And let's see what will happen that first game, as you said. Hopefully we can see the two kids in action, and also see some players going up and playing again with the team.
Yes, yeah, excited to see the players, club football, technically
Back in action, yeah.
yeah,
Something
tired
we
of
all
international
miss
football.
in the summertime.
yeah, yeah, in the week, and yeah, excited to see how, first of all, the kids in action, and some of the players as well. And yeah,
So there's a
been a
lot to
good-
look forward to. So yeah, again, thank you
Yeah,
for listening, and see you next week with the new episode, the second one of Culers Podcast. Bye.